All right, we got this batch up. Okay. First things first. Let's talk some Elden Ring. Let's talk some Elden Ring. Let's talk some Elden Ring. As you can see the title, I've seen some videos on YouTube. There's some people out there trying to push an agenda that this game was a flop, Shadow of the Erdtree, which is funny in itself because I don't know if y'all saw, but so the game's been out for a week now. By the end of this week, it'll be 2 weeks now. And at the end of the first week for Shadow of the Erdtree, it had mixed reviews because it was getting review bombed with negative reviews. People were complaining that the DLC was hard. I don't know if y'all saw, because a lot of people pushed the negative articles about how it was getting review bombed. I only saw like one article for this. The Steam page has changed. It's positive again. It's mostly positive again. So originally it was getting review bombed because people were saying that it was too hard. Now I've been playing it. You see me on stream. I've been exploring. I haven't been rushing the bosses. And the reason I think it changed from negative to positive is all the crybaby casuals finally figured out, quit trying to speed rush the DLC so you can be the first to claim you beat the final boss and, you know, flex your e-penis and go collect those fragments. Play the fucking game. I'm telling you, the internet has ruined everything. Play the fucking game so you're strong enough to fight the bosses. People went and collected fragments and they found out it's hard, but it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, take your time. You saw the reviews. Bare minimum, people have spent 30 hours, but most are reporting they are spending 50 to 100 hours on this DLC. It is a whole new game. And you're trying to beat it in 10 hours and you're getting your wig pushed back. So the reviews have flipped for the update. It is now positive. Everybody loves it all of a sudden because they took the time to understand the new mechanics and the results are in. I've seen videos, people saying it, this, that, and the third, saying this was a flop. It's already sold 5 million in just a week. In just a week. Why would you want to rush a masterpiece? Because people want to get their tweets off. And the crazy part is that most y'all don't make money from social media. Unless you make money from social media, there's no reason to rush through everything just so you can get 10 extra tweets or 10 extra likes on a tweet, 10 extra likes on an Instagram post because you were the first to find something in the game. Like, who gives a fuck? If you're not a content creator, who gives a fuck? And most of you aren't. So just enjoy what you paid for. You don't got to be part of the conversation. The FOMO is crazy. It's ruining everything. So yeah, the reviews have flipped from negative to positive. Big sales. I don't think people understand. 5 million copies in only 1 week is crazy. I think total, the actual base game sold like 25 million in the last 2 years. At the DLC, we're like at 30-ish. It's crazy. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. DLC is going crazy. Just a week in Spider-Man did that as final sales. Nah, Spider-Man 2 is at 10 million, I think now. It was at 5 for a while, but it's at 10 as of now, the last time that I checked. But even still, like, that's DLC, and in only 1 week, Elden Ring's DLC did half of what Spider-Man 2 did. Like, that is fucking crazy. Other Elden Ring, what baffled me most is when people would complain that they had to go and find the fragments, like they didn't do the same when they were looking for golden seeds in the base game. No, the crazy part is if you play the DLC, I don't think you're going to find every single fragment. I don't expect to, but for the most part, they're not hard to find if you check your corners. I've gotten to level 11 so far without even really trying. They're not really that hard. But the problem is those 10 extra likes mean would mean the world to some people. Is super weird. It's fried people's brains, social media. That's the positive news that I have for Elden Ring. The negative news from Software's parent company, the last big hack was Insomniac, the new big hack this week. And I feel like I didn't really see nobody talking about it except for this website. From Soft's parent company, their publisher is suffering a 1.5 terabyte data hack. Hours ago, it was announced by the Kato Kawa Group, the parent company of From Software, that a cyber attack has led to around 1.5 terabytes of data being obtained by a ransomware group. In a news release published by the organization, it was explained that the company felt the impact of this attack in almost every branch: publication, distribution, web services, and merchandising. It makes such a huge difference gathering those skidoo trees. Max is like 20. Yeah, we gonna get them. We gonna get them. Presently, Kadokawa is uncertain if any personal information was obtained by the ransomware group, but it is stressed that it doesn't retain credit card information. That's good. The group was quick to publish a transparent statement following the revelation of the supersized hack. The company is the parent company of From Software, the developers behind Elden Ring, and they recently released a staggering successful Shadow of the Erdtree expansion. It's not clear if the impact was rolled downstream to From Software in any way, but it was confirmed that part of the company's most damaged by attack was Nico, a content sharing platform. Basically, so they own a bunch of different stuff. As you can see, they own this platform. They don't just own From Software. What I'm trying to get at is, don't be surprised. I'm not saying it will happen, but don't be surprised if some leaks happen with From Software. Like, we don't know what data they got from the parent company. Just don't be shocked if From Software's next game leaks online, maybe even like some footage or some shit like that, which is unfortunate. I think the bigger impact here is Nico and the potential manga and the anime leaks. Damn, they got anime and shit like that. 1.5 terabytes is huge. The hackers now know you use Mimic Tier on those bosses. You need a terabyte of info to know JG was using Mimic Tiers. You did not need it. Unfortunate. But yeah, don't be surprised if you start seeing videos, thumbnails, tweets of some fuckery. That's the positive. Then the negative news I got. In general info for Elden Ring, we got some more interviews from Miyazaki. You beat the Swine Warrior yesterday. I beat him 2 days ago. Catch up. What's the name? Elden Ring is really the limit, Miyazaki says. He'd be concerned about pushing From Software to make something bigger than its open world RPG masterwork. We're skipping past all the mush. Here's the actual statement from Miyazaki. Where From Software is right now in terms of scale, I would say Elden Ring is really the limit. We've tapped every resource and talent that we have access to, scaling it even bigger. I'd have my concerns. Perhaps having multiple projects is the next stage where some of the other younger talent can have the opportunity to manage and direct game design for a smaller project. 1 second, y'all. The load-bearing phrase here is likely this. Where From Software is right now, the developer is surely still adjusting to Elden Ring's outliner success. It's funny because I said on stream yesterday, because we were talking about how From Software is mainstream now. I was saying, I think Sekiro walked, but Elden Ring pushed them into the mainstream. Because somebody in the chat yesterday was trying to argue that they were mainstream with like Dark Souls. No, they weren't. Dark Souls, and for damn sure Demon Souls, was a very niche game. They broke into them. They creeped into the mainstream with Sekiro, and then they broke in with Elden Ring. This is their breakout game. As a Souls fan, hell no. I mean, in an example being too, like Armor Core 6. I feel like hardcore gamers did like Armor Core 6, but that was not a mainstream game. Elden Ring pushed them into the mainstream. But anyways, the developer is still surely adjusting to the outsider's success, as well as the attention and opportunities it's brought, with Miyazaki and other executives likely weighing up options for growth against the risks of overreaching or altering the studio's culture. Basically, they're trying to balance, damn, do we lean in more into this, or do we just keep doing what the fuck we want to do? You said Bloodborne, right? They made Bloodborne, yeah. Outlier success. Sekiro was mainstream. I don't think Sekiro was mainstream. Just because a game wins Game of the Year doesn't mean it's mainstream. Game of the Year means that it's the most popular game amongst the gaming community. But Elden Ring reached outside the gaming community. Like, I seen people, I had people that don't even play games asking me about Elden Ring. Like, do you understand how crazy that is? Like, Sekiro was not a mainstream. If you ask random people on the street, do you know about Sekiro? They're not going to know what that is. But if you ask a random person on the street, have you heard of Elden Ring? They might have not played it, but they might have heard that word before. Elden Ring is known by non-gamers. Thank you. Like, I feel like some of y'all don't understand what mainstream means, breaking outside of the niche. Gaming is a niche, and then there's niches within the niche. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying when I say it went mainstream. It crossed over. Like, Fortnite is a mainstream game. Apex, not really. It's a mainstream gamer game, but Fortnite is a mainstream game. There's levels to this shit. And y'all knew I liked Apex, but you got to be real about there's levels to this shit. The culture. Elsewhere, Miyazaki more broadly argues that Elden Ring was a turning point for the studio. He even acknowledges it himself. He's saying it right here. and that From Software games was made before and after. They're saying this is our Thriller. There was life before and life after Michael Jackson's Thriller. Will show a clear difference, pointing to 2023's Armored Core 6 as one. Yo, I swear to God, I swear I did not read this article beforehand. I just be scrolling on social media. I read the headline. I say, this seems interesting. I'm going to react to it on stream. We could talk about it. I swear to God, I don't read these articles beforehand. He's literally proving my point. He's backing it up. Armored Core 6 is a great example. Armored Core 6 came after Elden Ring. Hardcore gamers knew what it was, but the mainstream, they weren't talking about it. As one example of the studio's evolution in action, Armored Core 6 is also a good demonstration of how Miyazaki and From Software's conservative forecast can support smaller games that can find smaller but significant success. My bad. In a separate interview, Miyazaki recently described Sekiro Shadows Die Twice as a turning point of its own, but in the context of From Software's approach to action combat. Sekiro walked so Elden Ring could run. Or fly, really. Or you could say ran to fly, but whatever. In fact, you could even say the only reason Armored Core 6 even got some attention outside of AC and Dark Souls fans is because of Elden Ring. It did help it to some degree. Yeah, because it's been a while since we got Armored Core. Like Elden Ring was the first Souls game that because I played Dark Souls 2, I didn't like it. I played 3, Ethos and Anon ruined it for me. I played Sekiro and I liked Sekiro, but I wasn't my heart wasn't in it. I wasn't fully committed to it. Elden Ring was the first Souls game where I was determined. I was I'm going to beat this fucking game. And then it opens you up to new things. So I think it did that for a lot of people, and you got to give it its credit. Because I went on to beat, which is funny because JG was talking about, he was hurt because they were calling him out on social media. We're going to get to that. And he was saying that I'm a one-trick pony. I'm not good at the game. The Moon Veil carries me because all I do is hold L2 to win. And my counter argument to that is, I get it. It's a strong weapon. I get it. But what about beating Jedi Survivor on Grandmaster and I used the Heavy Blade, the slowest weapon in the game, and I beat the final boss with it? You needed precision and skill for that. Also, I beat it on Grandmaster, the hardest difficulty. What about Liza P? I beat the game with the Puppet Ripper, which is one of the slowest weapons in the game. You had to be precise. This whole 15, 16 hour thing with Millennia, that's a talking point that's mute. And in my defense, Elden Ring, like I said, was the first Souls game where I really committed myself. So yeah, I got washed during the base game, but clearly I've gotten a lot better. Let it go. Because you can't cheese Liza P. Let it go. We're still talking about shit from 2 years ago. We're going to talk about what you did yesterday. Which perfectly segues into my next article, where Miyazaki says, I absolutely suck at video games. Elden Ring's director struggled through the world he created. You don't even got to say all that. At the end of the day, we watched the goalpost switch from calling people Mickey to it's in the game. You see they keep moving the goalposts. You see they keep moving the goalposts. I eat my L. I'll be like, yo, y'all clown me about the 16-hour Millennium fight. It is what it is. Although my counter argument always is that I didn't use a Mimic tier to beat Millennia, but whatever, or Rivers of Blood. But I'm gonna give y'all the 16 hours. I eat my L. But that was 2 years ago. Let's look at what's going on. Look what I did yesterday against that finger boss. Ain't that one of the hardest bosses in the game? I downloaded that boss real quick. Talk to me nice. Anyways, Miyazaki says he sucks at games. For those who love a good challenge, From Software's latest DLC into the Elden Ring fantasy world is proving to be a bit of a hurdle, even for the most hardened tarnished. Thankfully, some of the good news is on the way that we'll see the notoriously difficult Shadow the Erd Tree become that bit easier in a calibration update with a yeah, whatever. Come on, let's get to the actual quote. Don't worry, even Miyazaki finds Elden Ring hard. Speaking to Keza McDonald in an interview with The Guardian, Miyazaki talked about how much he enjoyed getting hands-on with Elden Ring before it was released, but as soon as it was completed, he had to keep away from jumping in again because he'd end up finding little things that he'd want to change. By that stage, it would be too late. That makes sense. He would want to keep changing it. After the release, I tend not to want to touch it because I know I'm going to either find things that I left on the table or issues that will bug me. And once I become a player, I'm powerless to do anything significant to change it. So once a game is out in the wild, I tend not to play it. Makes sense. Breaking his own little rule, Miyazaki decided to hop into Elden Ring's playthrough its story once again to lead up to Shadow of the Erdtree. And for the players who've been struggling with his difficulty process, Miyazaki is here to say that you aren't alone, as even he, who created the game, finds it a grueling endeavor and needs every bit of help he can get to overcome its combat. I want to preface this by saying I absolutely suck at video games. So my approach or playstyle was to use everything I have at my disposal. All the assistance, every scrap of aid that the game offers, and also all the knowledge that I have as the architect of the game. Miyazaki also touches upon on Elden Ring's movie, and we don't care about that shit. So the reason the coach doesn't need to play, and that's what I was gonna get at, because some people might read this and they might be like, well, how does the director of the game suck at his own fucking game? There's having good eyesight, seeing the field is a different skill set than executing. And what I mean is he's good at creating worlds and like gameplay mechanics. But if I had to take an educated guess, because he's admitting he's not good, he probably has developers play testing the game for him to make sure that it's beatable, like it's not too hard. But he's good at crafting the thing, if that makes sense. An example I can think of is, remember when Luke Walton was the coach of the Lakers? Remember he did pretty good like for like 2 years, and when he got hired, people were like, how the fuck is Luke? Because Luke Walton was a bum in terms of a player in the NBA, but he did pretty good as a coach for like a couple years. And I remember defending him on the stream like years ago. People were like, yo, how the fuck is Luke coaching so good? And I was like, you have to understand, being able to see the field, being a general, being a colonel is completely different. You're like, yeah, there are some people who can do both, where they execute really well and they can see the field. And there are some people that just can see the field. It is what it is. I mean, going back to the Lakers, you can even argue, because I know Cammy's smiling right now. JJ Redick, I'm not gonna say he is, but it sounds like he's gonna be a good coach. JJ Redick was all right. He was a good role player. He was a strong role player, but he was never like a superstar. But based off that press conference I saw, I like what I heard from JJ Redick. He might be better at seeing the field than playing the game. And an example being is in the press conference, one of the things that like I always said to Chaos, and this is like my Wizards bias showing, is one thing I didn't like that the Lakers did is like they really underplayed Rui. Rui should be a 20 and 10 guy. He should have 20 points, 10 rebounds. But like the coach, they just was not playing him right. And he said on that press conference, we're going to utilize him more. I was like, the Lakers might be better this year. The Lakers might be better this year. He has the potential to do that. He just needs somebody to believe in him, basically. So sometimes people are just better at, you know, drawing the X's and O's. And I think that's what this situation is. He's better at making games than he is actually playing them. It's an actual thing. I know some people who just sit on the game and sweat and their fucking chair stinks. They don't understand this because they're not capable of thinking outside themselves. Would you say Jason Kidd is good at both? Yeah, Jason Kidd was a good player and a good coach. Yeah, like sometimes that happens. But like in the opposite end of the spectrum, sometimes they're good at playing the game, but they're bad coaches. And an example is Jordan. The greatest, but this motherfucker cannot manage a team. And not only can he not manage a team, here's another example. He doesn't have an eye for talent. This motherfucker, LaMelo Ball, is like the first great player that they've drafted. And we don't know if that was him. And even LaMelo Ball, he fucking up. Yeah, Jordan is a terrible GM, but he was a great player. Like, it's two different skill sets. Being able to eye talent is two different skill sets. So yeah, for people who are like, how could he suck at game? Like, how could he get good? It is what it is. So the funny thing I think about this article coming out and Miyazaki saying he sucks at his own games is some people are using this as an excuse to be Mickey. He made the greatness, so he gets a pass, man. It's stressful developing a game, so I really don't give a fuck how he plays the game. And I'm gonna be honest, he kind of has to test all the features. He's a developer. He's got to make sure things are balanced, they're fun, they're working, they're coded right. So we're gonna give Miyazaki a pass. But the people who sit on the internet and say they're one of the best to do it, they're the best in the friend group, you don't get a pass, especially after you said you wasn't gonna do no Mickey shit. And it's crazy because I seen somebody in GI trying to use this article to justify going full-blown Ultra Instinct Mickey. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen it, UTX JG the Don, or shall I say UTX Mimic Tier the Don, or JG's Mimic Tier capsule. He was fighting Mesmer yesterday. I was in the middle of a boss fight myself, which, by the way, somebody else in GI booted up their stream right after mine and just so happened to find that boss right after me and started fighting him. I said, interesting. Still had to switch his build for like 2 hours straight before he won, but... Oh yeah, we're piling the evidence up. We're piling the evidence up. Which, by the way, if you saw the boss that I fought, that boss was in the cut. You had to explore to find that one. He just booted his stream up after mine and magically found it and started fighting him. Just knew how to fight him, barely. But anyways, we're talking about the Mesmer fight. I was made aware that somebody said on Twitter, if Miyazaki is using summons, so am I. So he decided to go full-blown Mickey, JG. He used a Mimic Tier during the Mesmer fight, and I understand it's a hard boss fight. And listen, once again, you paid $70, $40 for this game. You are allowed to enjoy it how you want. That is my stance. I really don't give a fuck if you use a Mimic, Magic, whatever. My stance is, if you do use that stuff, you're not allowed to sit at the champions table. You sit at the training wheels table, okay? When certain caliber of gamers, $5 tier, are talking about certain things, you can't join the conversation. And this guy right here, he was a part of the conversation, but he switched up. As soon as that article came out, he got a little bit stressed. He pulled the Mimic Tier out. But it's not even the fact that he pulled the Mimic Tier out. It's how he won. Look at this chat if you haven't seen it. Some might argue JG should give his runes to the Mimic Tier. Let's take a look at this. Oh, I'm so sorry. My dumbass, this is the wrong clip. What the fuck? Who got the right clip? That's an L for me. Who got the right clip, bro? That's not even the right clip. Let me go into my fucking clips. Hold up. My dumbass. Let's see my channel. I know somebody clipped me reacting to it video. Look for the one I clipped. Let's see, clips of my channel. Mickey reaction. Oh, I think I got it. Yeah, okay, here we go. Oh wait, no. What, is this it? Misinformed slander. False alarm. Is this the right one? Yeah, this is the right. Here it is. Here's the footage. It's cool.
What the fuck, man? Damn.
Oh, let me rewind that just in case y'all didn't see it. Because it was a little fast. Thoughts on the DLC so far? It's cool.
What the fuck, man? Damn. Hey, man, you weren't supposed to do that, bro.
Let's go. This is premiere evidence. Yeah, this nigga knew. He knew. Straight out of Ace's playbook. Setback. Let me go ahead. Now, if you didn't catch it, because it's a little bit smaller on the screen, let me reenact what actually happened. On one of the hardest boss fights, instead of scrapping it out, toughing it out, and learning what he needed to do, he summoned his Mimic Tier, his Shadow Clone Jutsu, and JG hid in the corner. He didn't jump the boss. He hid in the corner and let the Shadow Clone win the fight for him. If you saw the footage, in HD, he was hiding in the corner. Shaking. When he finally uncovered his eyes, I won. Oh my God. I'm an Elden Lord. Oh my God. I'm an Elden Lord. You saw it? He was in the corner. Please stop beating my ass. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering why I started off the stream this way, I'm not crying. I'm okay, buddy. He's always checking on me. I'm okay. If you're wondering why I started off the stream with this meme, that's the reference. New meme alert. I don't feel good about that one. UTX, Mimic Tier the Don, new GI meme in the Hall of Fame. I don't feel good about that one. I don't feel good about that. Now, if you want this meme, you want to use it, it's in the Discord. I dropped it in the memes section. I can show you right now, right here. It's right there in the meme section. Feel free to download it and use it for yourself. Also, here. I also, you know, you can use it to get some jokes off. Like, here's a world-renowned content creator, the Black Hokage, tweeted out, when a car tank is on E and you suggest heading to the gas station, but they reply, I know my car. Yeah, I don't feel good about that one. UTX Mimic Tear the Dawn. Time to retire the Google one. It's time to retire. We got Ultra Instinct, Google. Ultra Instinct. We need that emote. You know what? We might have to turn it into it. We might have to turn it into an emote. So yeah, just a little Elden Ring update. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy.